Hello and welcome to the Local Lions podcast, where we talk about disc golf, life, and other stuff too. Happy to have with me today Ezra Aderhold. Ezra, appreciate you joining me, man.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Making the time. It's a pleasure.
Where
are we at the moment?
We are in the OTB Europe shop here at the Ale Disc Golf Center. So Vince was kind enough to let us in. We were all trying to get situated outside, and the bugs have come out in full force with the wet conditions, and so that would have been miserable. So now we're inside. We got the discs behind us. Should be pleasant.
We appreciate them letting us use this venue in the evening.
Yep.
We are here at the Ale Disc Golf Center. As you said, it is Saturday night right now, going into the final round tomorrow. Without getting into too much detail, how is your feeling being on the course? Do you think it suits your game, and what are your hopes for tomorrow?
I would have thought it suited my game. Yeah, my practice rounds went pretty well. I was feeling really confident with my whole game, honestly, like going into the tournament rounds, and then just the full street rounds have been pretty abysmal. Yesterday I did have a lot of, Saturday I did have a lot of birdies, but I just had way too many bogeys, so I'm not sitting very good. So I think it's just unfortunate to play so bad. So I think tomorrow is likely to be a lot better and a lot more kind of where I expect to be. So hopefully I can climb the leaderboard and cash at the very least, maybe sneak in like a top 20 would be solid at this point.
I believe it. I hope you find that finish you're looking for.
Thanks.
Talk about a little bit about your travel schedule. You had some pretty gnarly turnarounds in the recent weeks.
Yeah.
You played Connor Ezra, you went back for Cascade, You're here now back to Ale. I think next week you're back in the States, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been like the last month and a half has been quite a bit. So I flew from my hometown out to the OTB, the Champions Cup, we had the major in California. And then I flew to Alaska for a few days. And then I flew back to Cascade. So I played the Cascade Challenge up in Washington. Then I flew over to Czechia for the Connor Ezra Open. Then I flew back to the Poland Open, and now I'm here in Ale. So it's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of flights, trying to deal with the jet lag, which has been so much better coming to Ale. I feel like my sleep has been a lot better than it was when I went to Connor Ezra. So I must have figured something out a little bit. And then I go back to the Midwest, in like just over a day to play the Resolve, and then I have an off week. And then finally, and then I play Des Moines, and then I fly back to Europe for another busy stretch. So it's been a lot, but it's the job, and this is what I'm here for. So I feel like I want to play every event I can and try to get, as many points as I can get and give myself as many opportunities to win as I can, since I'm still chasing that.
Fantastic. I think it's commendable. Not everyone from the States is willing to come over and travel that much. You mentioned that the impact it has on your disc golf. You're known as someone who takes good care of their fitness and their nutrition. How do you balance that strict travel schedule, your disc golf practice, your life off the course, and still try to maintain those personal goals which you have for health and wellness? Yeah,
so as far as the practice goes, it's changed a little bit with all the flying. So I don't have all of my practice equipment with me. I don't have all my backup discs, all my field work, my putting discs. So I've kind of shifted away from doing a lot of field work to just I played 2 rounds a day for a lot of these events, it's a different way to practice, and I've kind of been liking it. So I might even stick with that when I have all my stuff with me. Practice putting is definitely a little bit more difficult. I've got 4 puddles with me, so it's just not as efficient to go, practice putt for an hour. I don't get as many reps in, so that hasn't been as enjoyable. As far as the diet and fitness goes, my diet's still good. I can buy, boxed beans anywhere I go, so that's not too bad. The fitness part of it, though, I've been slacking, man. It's not good. When I was in the States, it's easy, but when I came here for Connor Ezra and I came here for Ale, you get in on Tuesday, and then it's both these events are kind of away from town, and so I haven't gone through the trouble of getting a weekly membership or anything. So when I get back to the States, hopefully I can get back into that regime and get the gains back, and then maybe for Europe. I think in Finland, there's a gym I go to, so that probably won't be too bad, but definitely need to get that back as well.
If you can't find a gym, do you substitute with bodyweight stuff, any calisthenics, or you like to lift weights?
I like to lift weights. Yeah, it feels so much less efficient. I have to sit and do, 200 push-ups in order for it to feel like a comparable workout. Whereas I can just go into a gym for 20 minutes, and it's weights are just having resistance is so much more efficient to build muscle. Yeah. And so I'm kind of taking it as more of an off week, letting my body reset a little bit, and then have that hunger to go to the gym. So
nice. I asked a few people leading up to this podcast, do you have any questions that you'd like me to ask, Ezra? Is there something you want to know? And there was a recurring answer from that question, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Do you think that you are the strongest disc golfer on the Pro Tour?
I'm probably the strongest in a couple in a couple lifts.
Yeah.
I would think maybe. I mean, like Gavin Babcock's a machine. Like he's built. So
he's a thick boy.
He's huge. Yeah. I could see him being stronger than me in maybe even every lift, but definitely some of them. Then there's like Jona Heinonen. Everyone knows he's a jacked guy too. So I don't know. I mean, it's not really something that we're comparing all the time.
Of course,
so
it's more of just a funny question. In awareness.
I'd like to think that like at least in a couple maybe I'm the strongest, but I don't know.
Do you think that raw strength translates well to on-course gains? Obviously, distance is a question, but which do you think is necessarily more important for someone who wants to throw further? Do you think the average player should go work on their form, or should they hit the gym, work on those core, those rotational activities? Which of those do you think would benefit the average player more in upping their distance on the course?
Yeah, I would like to say gym. I would love to say get in shape and build muscle, but I don't think it has much of an effect, unfortunately. Well, I guess maybe fortunately, I don't know. I mean, if it was a big predictor of distance or disc golf skill, I think we would just see more people in shape, more people jacked. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But I think since we see so much, like the vast majority of people don't have a ton of muscle, you know, it's more people with long levels or flexibility or just good technique is really the main thing. That I don't think the fitness has it makes a huge difference. I also can't compare myself because like when I first started taking disc golf really seriously and tried to go made the decision to try to go pro, that's kind of the same time I like went to an actual gym and started putting on more muscle. So I never saw like a vast difference because I never had that comparison. Technique is definitely the main thing. Getting the timing down and getting all the hit points at the right spot in the right time. That's going to be the biggest advantage you can get. So like when I first started out, I would just film myself on my phone and film my technique and then look at it in slow motion, compare it to the top pros and try to see what the differences were, and then like fine tune that to kind of try to make my form what all the top pros kind of had in common. And so I feel like the technique is definitely the biggest predictor of like distance and accuracy and all that stuff.
Which particular people do you think those should go look at for backhand form? We'll start with backhand, we'll move on to forehand. Okay. Who do you think has some of the crispiest, cleanest backhand form to model afterwards?
Cleanest backhand form. There's a lot of guys with really good form. I mean, like Anthony Boileau's form is pretty good. Obviously, he's making it work really well too.
It's hard to argue with the results.
It's really, if you just look at like the top 10 guys, like they probably have good technique, and at the very least they have good timing. So yeah, I mean, like Gannon's technique is super silky smooth. I think he's in the running. Honestly, I think Eagle might be up there as well. Drew Gibson, I remember I used to like Drew Gibson's form a lot. I'm not sure if it's changed a little bit, or maybe
seems like it has.
I don't know, because I remember back when I was building my form, he was a guy I looked at as well, and like Will Schustrick's old form. But yeah, I mean, like Ben Calloway comes to mind as well. Bradley Williams comes to mind. Some of those guys,
smooth guys,
just super smooth, and just like you can just tell like textbook wise, they've got really good technique. So I mean, obviously, if it works, it's probably pretty good technique. So like personally, I wouldn't say Calvin has the best technique. It looks kind of funky in my opinion. But since he makes it work so well, technically speaking, I think it is good technique. I think he has really good timing, and so he's able to hit those points at the right time, have the disc come out, and then it's like that very last millisecond of the throw where it just leaves your fingertips. If you can get that in the right spot at the right time, that's kind of where the disc is going to go. So even if the reach back looks a little bit weird, but if the timing's right and you get to that point, then it kind of...
The results speak for themselves, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Looking at forehand quickly, you mentioned one guy who I think has standout form in his prime. Eagle, I always thought was just effortless, silky smooth. The distance was unreal for how minimal his motions were. Who do you see as a standout forehand player in terms of technique and form if somebody wanted to do that field work, do that video comparison?
Let's see. I mean, some players like Sullivan, whose backhand's not quite as strong, he makes it work so well with the forehand that I think his forehand stands out as a really special one. And again, Anthony, I mean, he's got a really good forehand. Adam's forehand is really good as well, even though he's got kind of a unique, I guess, start to it. The rest of it is really flawless. I never really dove into the forehand technique as much as I did with the backhand. I kind of left the forehand as just like a natural motion. It's definitely a lot more comfortable for people to throw forehand since it translates to other sports so well with baseball and any throwing motion. So I never really, I didn't dive as deep into the forehand form as the backhand. And so that's why I'm still figuring the forehand out and still learning things about it.
But I think you're totally right that elbow lag is something that's way more familiar, I think, than a proper backhand form for people who are coming from an athletic background.
Totally.
As we look forwards to the 2025 season, we mentioned your travels upcoming.
Yep.
What are the tournaments that you look forward to the most, whether in Europe or the States?
Yeah.
Are there some that stand out to you as, I have to be there, I want to perform, that maybe rise above the others in prestige or excitement?
Right. Yeah, totally. I mean, obviously, if it's a major, that's going to be at the top of the list. The World Championships being in Finland is going to be unreal. I think, UC keeps hyping it up as the biggest event of all time, and I think he's right. I mean, it's going to be
in
massive.
numbers, it might be.
It's going to have, I mean, the European Open usually has probably the best crowds of any event, and so for it to be the World Championships alongside the already prestige that tournament holds, I think there's going to be an awesome turnout. So it's going to be incredible to play in front of that gallery. So that one's the top. Obviously, that's going to be the main one. I think next would be USDGC, which again, it's a major. So like that's one I always look forward to. That course is really fun to play, and I feel like it suits my game. So I feel like I have a good chance at that one. And then as far as tournaments that aren't at the major level, like DGLO always comes to mind. I think that might be a playoff event this season. Maybe not. Maybe just GMC and MVP. But DGLO is one of my favorite courses, and I like my chances at that course as well. So that's probably the next one that I'd be looking forward to.
Yeah. Do you feel that as a player with sponsors, you have a full freedom over your tour schedule, or do you feel that Discraft and maybe some of your other sponsors recommend or ask that you go to certain places? What is the balance there of what you want to play versus what's maybe expected of you?
Yeah, I guess I haven't really hit the point of having a sponsor call me up and say, hey, I want you to play this event. And that's probably just because I play all
everything.
Yeah, it's like there's no overlap, there's no crossover because I play every single event, so there's not really an event they could like call me up and tell me to go play.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point in my career when I dial it back and only want to play 10 or 15 events, then maybe they'll be like, hey, we want you to play this one, and then I have to be a little more specific. But yeah, for right now, it's just, I mean, I think I'm probably going to play more of the Pro Tour events than anybody this year also. I think my sponsors are pretty happy in that regard. I think, like with Discraft, I think I have to play 15 events a year, but I obviously blow that,
You're
past that.
well beyond it.
Yeah, I want the points.
Yeah. I've noticed as well, if these people are following you on social media, Instagram as well, you travel a lot outside of disc golf.
Yeah.
Is that a hobby? What is the motivation for you to go to these places? You touched on the fact you took a quick trip to Alaska. I see you going all over the place. What have been your favorite places to visit outside of the disc golf world?
Yeah, I would say it's just kind of a hobby. Yeah, I went to Alaska. It kind of just worked out with the scheduling between California and Washington. I had an off week, and so I was like, might as well just dip my toe into Alaska for a few days and mark off my 50th state. So that was
Nice.
fun. Cause
Congrats.
thank you.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was it's something to say I've done, I guess. But disc golf has taken me so many places, and so I've kind of gotten all the other states just with disc golf, and so then it was just kind of the last one I had to hit. And then I went on a big trip with my buddies from back home that I kind of grew up with all the way across the planet, like all the way around a couple winters ago. And that was kind of just like we had the opportunity to, and like I'm blessed enough to have friends that I'm still friends with that I grew up with, and we're all in a place where we can like make it happen. And like their winter's kind of slow with the jobs they have too, so like it just kind of all lined up to where we felt like we had to kind of take the opportunity. So definitely kind of just a hobby. It's just kind of fun to experience new places and see what's up and check all these places that you obviously see online. It's like, let's go actually see them for real.
We have a bit of an ongoing joke throughout these episodes of giving an obscene amount of shout outs. If at any point you want to shout out those friends, feel free. It's we push the shout outs here. Nice. I'm going to quickly pull up a quick exercise. I had planned a little game, but in the meantime, while I pull this up, I'd like to ask, you're right now here in Sweden, you're here in Europe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion about the feeling of disc golf in Europe, the feeling of disc golf in America. Right now, the metrics and the numbers favor America as the sport being larger, perhaps being more well known en masse, but still maybe more niche than it feels in Europe. From your perspective, as someone who travels back and forth very regularly, what do you see as the biggest differences between disc golf in Europe, disc golf in the States?
Yeah, I mean, like the Pro Tour does a good job of making both locations have really good events. I feel like we have good events in both the States and in Europe. The turnout of the crowds is probably a little bit better in Europe, I think. But then again, I mean, America has some good ones too. We're just in Portland, Oregon, and that has a really good turnout as well. It seems to me like it seems to me like Europe takes disc golf a little bit more seriously. Like you said, it's kind of a niche still in America. So I think, we've got some pretty big competition with sports. We've got baseball and football and basketball that are just massive in America.
The money in those is just going to rule. They'll stay at the top. I don't see any movement there.
Exactly. And so it's like we're not making a whole lot of ground on those sports. I think disc golf is pretty small comparatively in America, whereas I feel like in Europe, disc golf is still probably small compared to hockey, maybe some other big sports here, but I feel like it holds a bigger piece of that pie. And so I feel like it's welcomed with a little bit more like professionalism, or just people recognize it as more of a legit sport. Yeah. Being in like Finland and Estonia last year was pretty crazy to see like Niklas you just had his face like on the train station, like signs or whatever. And we were in Estonia and we had Kristen. So like that was insane. That was like really cool to see that level of popularity for disc golf in just in the city, which we don't really see that in America. I'd be shocked if we're in Portland is a billboard with Gannon's face. It'd be cool, but I think we're always away from that level.
What's your hometown? Where are you from?
South Dakota.
Just a big Ezra on the billboard in South Dakota driving by.
That'd be. I think we're quite a ways away, especially for South Dakota. I think we're a ways away, but maybe who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? And I think that feeling is here in Europe, that it is very professional. I don't have as much experience. I haven't played in the States before, but from the outside perspective, it does feel that you also have the precedent now of more large companies investing in European disc golf. We're seeing companies like Porsche sponsor Kristen. She's obviously an anomaly. She's an outlier in terms of audience capture. But
step in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction, and the precedent is being set by Europe. I have the feeling that the ceiling is maybe higher in Europe, but it's going to take time for us to get to the level of interest it is in the States. Yeah. What do you think is preventing Europe from seeing the same numbers as we see in the States?
That's a good question. Man, I don't know. I mean, maybe just America had a jump on it from the start, and so they've had more time to grow. I don't know the population difference from Europe to America. I mean, I'm sure Europe smashes it. Scandinavia, though, like Norway, Finland,
pretty sparse. It's probably population density. I think Sweden's like 7-8 million.
Okay.
Estonia, I don't know. A lot of the Nordic countries are around that, like 5 to 12 million.
So that's probably a big reason then, because like America, we've got 300 something million, I think. And disc golf's kind of for Europe at least, it's mostly popular in these kind of northern countries that don't have as many people. So if disc golf could move into the more like I don't know, Central European countries, that's where we could get some real growth in Europe too then probably.
I would agree, and I'd love to see it. I live in Switzerland at the moment, near Zurich, and it's super niche. I can count on one hand the courses that have tee pads in the country. It's still at that level, and there's a bunch of good courses, but it's just it's not well known. To convince people in places to invest in disc golf as a sport is still going to require a lot of effort, and we're seeing that, but it's so young. I think that countries like Germany, huge country, lots of land, huge population, that has maybe more room than smaller countries like Switzerland or I mean France and Italy as well. I'm not sure if you've spent time there, but just beautiful geography. You have the coasts of Italy, you have the Alps of Central Europe. There's so much room for disc golf to maybe grow into. It's just going to be a matter of convincing and someone who has that drive and that ambition to bring it to Central Europe. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Tonge family, Max and his dad and his family.
Yeah, not well. I mean, I played that round with Max a couple days ago. So I've played one round with him, and he's a great guy. I mean, he's super high energy, super fun to play with, but I don't know him super well.
His dad, Jean-Louis, shout out to Jean-Louis. He basically brought disc golf to Belgium, from my understanding. He's building the courses, and they're a group of guys who I think do have that vision to grow disc golf in Europe. So I think that's a path that we might see from them.
Sick. Pretty cool.
One other recurring little game or activity that we do here is tier lists on this podcast episode. And you are most known, we touched on it earlier, for being a lover of beans. I want us to do a bean tier list.
Okay. All right.
You think you're up for it?
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to do out of 5. 5 stars, 5 out of 5 top bean.
Okay.
1 out of 5 trash bean.
Okay.
Everything in between. Don't think too much, go with your heart.
The thing is, I don't venture too much away. I stick to one bean most of the time, but I've dabbled a little bit, so we'll try.
Pinto beans.
5 stars. This is top tier. This is.
Is that your one?
That's the one I eat all the time.
That's
the one. Yeah. So that doesn't get better.
Black beans.
I'm gonna say 4 star. Yeah, just because it's not it's going to be hard for anything to be 5-star now that I've already put Pinto
Pinto
there. If it had its
is the
own class,
benchmark.
then I can maybe put black as 4.
Yeah.
But black's fantastic too. I mean, very, very. So I think most people would put black above Pinto. So
I would personally, but
Yeah.
I know you're a Pinto guy.
I knew it.
Cannellini.
Cannellini, I'm going to say 2-star. I'm not sure if I've even have it. It's like a little white bean, I
they're
think.
white beans.
Yeah, I'm going to say
small white beans.
2. It sounds kind of weak.
Garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. I
Right.
think they're the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a joke that I could say that I won't say.
You can do it. There's no restrictions here if you want to.
Well, no. My mom will watch this, so I can't say the joke. I can tell you
Mama Aderhold,
I can tell you off camera.
keep it in the vault. Yeah, tell me afterwards.
I'm going to say 5-star. I'm going to say 5-star. Yeah.
5 for
Low
Garbanzo.
key, low key, it's a 5-star. It's so
All right.
versatile. You can make
Yeah.
hummus out of it. You can make falafels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5-star. It sneaks in. I think it's barely even a bean, but I'm going to say it's a 5-star
Right.
bean.
I think technically a bean.
Right.
But it's up there. That's
Yeah.
cool. Lima bean.
I'm going to say 3-star.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3-star. Yeah.
Yeah. Solid, center of the mass, center
Yeah.
of the pack.
Yep.
Fava bean.
I'm going to say 3-star. I feel like fava is very similar. Maybe
Yeah.
creamier.
Yeah,
smoother.
they're pretty aligned, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they're not so different.
I think so.
Adzuki bean. Are you familiar with that bean?
I believe it's a red bean.
Yeah.
It's like a hard red bean. I'm going to say 4-star.
Oh.
Mostly because of the name. Like that's a sick name.
That is a sick
It's got a Z in there. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll go 4.
Soybeans.
5-star.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 5. It's kind of in the same vein as the garbanzo bean, but even more. It's like you got tofu and all the soy products with it. It's like it's so popular in Asia. I mean, yeah, it's hard for me not to say 5-star for
Also
soybeans.
super versatile.
Yeah,
Like you can, it's endless.
Exactly.
What you can do with the soybean.
Yep.
Mung bean. We eat a lot of the sprouts. I can't actually, when you picture the bean, I picture it stuck to the sprout.
Okay.
You know, it's rare
Yeah.
that I think of the bean on its own, but it's here. It's on the list.
Mung bean.
Mung bean.
I feel like they use mung beans in protein powders and stuff. But I think I'm going to give my first 1-star review to the mung bean. I don't know why, but maybe because it sounds like dung, but it's like it's just too close.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Like Adzuki sounds super cool.
Right.
Mung bean
is just, it's not, it's kind of like, it embarrasses the rest of the beans by being associated.
Wow, it's like
just with
some
the
sort
name.
of swamp bean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
not appealing.
The name matters, I guess.
Yeah. Black beans.
Oh, we did black beans.
We did black
We
beans.
gave it
Sorry.
4.
I
was a little
I went
harsh,
out of
maybe.
order. Yeah. No, that's fair. Kidney beans.
Kidney beans is really good too. I'm going to say 4-star.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was in Czechia for the Kona Pista, that's what they had. They didn't have pinto beans for me, so I had to get cans of kidney beans, which it worked out.
Yeah. Butter beans.
Ooh, butter beans, really big and soft,
Versatile as well.
versatile as well. Yeah, I'm gonna say 3. It's the same thing as a fava and those, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why I think this. I think they might have slightly lower protein count than some of the other beans.
Then maybe it's a 2-star. Get them out of here.
Drop
Get them out
that
of here.
one
We want the
down.
protein.
And I have one more on the list. It's the only one I'm unfamiliar with. Maybe you are as a bean aficionado. A Great Northern bean.
Oh my gosh, yes. of
What is a
course.
Great Northern bean? What am
It's
I
a
missing
white.
out
It's a
on?
little white bean.
Yeah.
It's very similar to a navy bean.
Okay.
I think, yeah, we would have these. Maybe because I'm from the northern part of America, so that's why.
Yeah.
It might even be the same thing as a navy bean, just a different name.
I'm
But-
realizing I do have navy bean also on this list.
I think they might be the same thing. If not, then I guess I'm not a bean aficionado. I'm a fake.
Yeah,
But I'm
the
gonna
overlap between Great Northern and Navy is.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say 3-star. I'm gonna say 3-star. I think it's just like it's what people use for baked beans.
Yep.
And too much sugar. We're gonna get it out.
Cut that. Yeah.
Exactly. Which I guess the sugar doesn't ruin the bean, but
Yeah.
it's the association I don't like.
Amazing. That is for the bean list. There's a couple more
I like
generic
it.
sections, but we're going to visually display that tier list on the
Okay.
screen for people. If you disagree with any bean assessment by Ezra, pop it in the comments.
All wrong.
We'll see.
That is wrong.
Yeah. We are here, obviously, at the OTB shop. You've had a relationship with Discraft now for a couple of years, I believe. Could you talk about how they support you as a player, what it's like to be a Team Discraft player, and the support that maybe you would like from them,
Yeah.
or maybe they check all the boxes?
Pay me more money. I want more money. No, I'm kidding.
Greg, well,
We'll start with OTB because I actually was sponsored by OTB first. So
Yeah,
when I
please.
first went on tour, right before I went on tour, actually, Nate Parkins played around with me in a tournament in Texas, and he saw some potential. So he kind of took me under his wing and helped me out a lot, which was super nice of him. And he got me in touch with OTB, so they picked me up for my first full touring season.
Nice.
And then after that, after that season, I played well enough to kind of get some recognition, and so then kind of had all the other the big name manufacturer sponsors reach out and kind of fight for me a little bit. So that was nice. And then Discraft ended up being the one that made the most sense and who I wanted to go with. And so then now I've been with Discraft for 5 years as well. So it's Discraft's been awesome. I mean, it's when I picked them at the beginning, it was kind of like I wanted to pick the company that I felt like was making the most moves, pushing the sport forward, who had the pros that I kind of looked up to, and talking with the pros at the time too from different companies, they all kind of said the same thing of like Discraft who you want to be with if you can be on a team.
Yep.
And I mean, I threw about half my bag was Discraft at the time anyway, and so it made sense to go with the discs that I liked, and they've taken care of me really well, and obviously that's partly as a player we kind of have to take care of ourselves too. We have to try to play really well to make ourselves valuable to them. We have to try to push ourselves on social media, and so the more that we give, then the more the sponsors kind of help out as well. So the partnership there has been really good with Discraft.
Mm-hmm. Are there any particular discs, either this weekend or historically, that for you are just workhorses? Obviously, you have a couple Tour Series discs that you can shout out. But what are the molds for you that you see as just 5 out of 5? This is in the slot.
Tier list.
We can do a Discraft tier list if you're up for
that'd be fun. There's a million discs to do.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I have to say 5-star for everything, otherwise Discraft cuts me. That's
true. You can't. I did a tier list for Custom Plus with Elias because he just joined them this season, and he gave a 1-star review, and I was trying to bump it up for him, but just for one mold. But I was like, come on, be nice, man.
That's funny.
But give me a top 5 molds for you.
Top 5 molds for me.
Top 5 Discraft molds.
Okay. Nuke is obviously top. I mean, that's the 2 illustrations I've got. That's been the workhorse for me for over 5 years. They absolutely bomb. Zone obviously comes to mind as well.
One of the most sold molds of all time.
Yeah, if it's not, I think it might be the best disc in the whole sport. Third one, I'm going to go with my Challenger SS.
Yeah.
I've got some crystal ones that I throw quite a bit, and then my CT glow ones that I putt with. So the fact that I have both of those is really nice. I love that mold, beadless. A little less glide than a Luna, which I like a lot. I thought now I'm making the two in my mind. I'm like, okay, so Luna would be just below Challenger SS. I'm like, what's one star?
If we do another episode, we'll prepare a full Discraft.
Okay, I like that. That'll be fun. I would have no problem putting some at 1. Like it's people know I like the Nebula mold and the Buzz. It's
preference.
It is what it is. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like
just everyone will have a different answer for the same molds.
Yeah, because I would probably put Buzz in the middle, like a 3-star tier.
Yeah.
But
which is probably highly controversial.
People would hate me for it. Yeah, which I shouldn't even said.
Yeah.
But
we will not cut that.
It's a fantastic disc. I just prefer the Nebula. But fourth disc, I'm going to go with between a Raptor and Captain's Raptor.
Oh.
I'm going to go Cap Rap.
Wow.
I can beat it into a Raptor.
Yeah.
So it's I can't go the other direction. Yeah, I can find a stable Raptor, but it's still not quite as much as a Cap Rap. So I'm gonna go with Cap Rap. I like those a lot for forehands, backhands. Then my fifth one. Let's see here.
Like you said, there's a lot of molds to sort through for this top 5.
Yeah, I mean, like I like my Nebula a lot. It's like really the only mid that I throw, so that could make a push for that spot. My Extreme is just a fun one. Nuke OS is up there.
I'm not familiar with the Extreme. What is the Extreme?
I'm glad you asked. Extreme is it's just the most oval stable disc in Discraft's lineup.
Okay.
So it's like a baby tilt kind of, like a 7-speed tilt basically.
Yeah.
Maybe a touch less oval stable. But yeah, just more oval stable than a Captain's Raptor.
But it's Extreme.
It's Extreme, yeah, exactly. The name. See that? Go back to the Zuki thing. It's got a good name for it. So we just came out with some Jawbreaker Z-Flex ones too for my Team Discraft website, and those are pretty sweet.
Sick.
Shout-outs, right?
Shout-outs. Give as many shout-outs as you want. Keep them going.
So that's been a disc that I've just recently been throwing the last about a year now, actually. And it's so fun to throw because you can just put the nastiest flex lines on it, or get some big skips, or just like knife house with that fly like a grenade.
Yeah, just that up-down shape.
Yeah. So useful when it's needed. Let's put that as 5. Let's put that as the fifth one.
It's just Extreme.
It's not my most thrown disc at all, but it's so fun when I do have to throw it. And it's one that people need to try out.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that the Discraft team was the place that was known to be on if you could get it. This year, the team is especially stacked. The recent signings of Ricky and others.
Yeah.
How do you as a player fit into Team Discraft? And is there this friendly competition internally? And obviously, you're a top player. You are in a field of killers, though.
Right. No, it's interesting.
How is that?
Yeah.
Balancing competition with friendliness, with team, and
Right. It is wild. Yeah, we picked up Ricky and Ezra were probably the biggest pickups this season on the male side at least. It's weird because we have there is kind of that internal competition a little bit. Obviously, you just want to be the best player you can be and add as much value to any company that you play for. But it is weird where we have some really top guys that didn't even make the elite team. Corey Ellis is one. He won the major.
1 or 2 years ago. Recently.
I think, yeah, very recently.
Yeah.
And he didn't even make the cut for the elite team just because it's that stacked. We have that many people that are vying for that spot. So it is interesting how that works. I think it might be a benefit to be on the team as well, just because you have to perform well just to even stay on an elite team.
Yep.
And so there is definitely that competition. It's definitely friendly too, though. It's not like I'm going to Gooseman or Adam or Anthony and be like, oh, I want you guys to fail so that I they're my boys. So it's I don't it's not like that, but it's more just internally motivating to try to play well, just because it's one more reason to play well because you want to stay on that team.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you mentioned those guys are your friends. You're often traveling with them. You're staying on site. We discussed the Airbnb situation when you're in Europe. When you're in the States, maybe it's an RV or a place to stay. How is the feeling of seeing those guys on your card against you, maybe in that lead card final round, balancing friendship and competition? What is that like, week in and week out?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to root against them when I'm playing against them. That's how I'll say it. Yeah. So if I'm on the same card as I was just playing with Anthony at Cascade, and he's one of my better friends on tour. He's and it's I want him to do well, but I'm not doing well. So if I'm out of contention, I'm super happy with him winning. If I'm in contention though, it's and he hits a tree, that helps me out. I'm sure he's the same way. We're competitors. That's how you have to be. So on the field, we're not as much friends. It's more competitive. And then midway through that round, I got to the point where I'd been playing so bad that I'm out of it. So then I was kind of rooting for him to take it down because he is my friend, and so then to see him win and be right there, that was actually really cool. But yeah, if it's we'll play money rounds throughout the week sometimes, more in the off season I guess. But it's I'm trying to beat these guys, But they're my friends, but I'm trying to beat them for sure.
You're also prolific on YouTube. You have a fantastic channel. We'll put the link down there. Of course, if you're watching this, you already know about Ezra's YouTube channel. How do you plan that content? You've done a lot of stuff with Goose throughout the season. Do you just do it as it comes to you? What makes sense to film? How structured is your planning for your content?
Yeah, it's been pretty easy to plan the last few years. We've kind of moved into a mostly just course preview kind of style, which at the end of the day, we're mostly trying to prepare for the tournament and play. We're still trying to be players first and just social media personalities, I guess, second. And so I don't know, I feel like doing the course previews is the easiest way for us to make content without having to make something extra and special that would maybe take away from our game. And so it's been really nice to just have that outlet to connect with fans and let people see our personalities a little bit more, and again, not take away too much from our practice. We're practicing anyway, so we might as well film one of the rounds and get it out there. Off season, there was definitely a little bit more planning that goes into it, and more structure. I do try to have some more creative ideas because it's we don't have to be creative when we just do a practice round or a doubles battle. It's
you're there anyway. You're going to be throwing shots anyway.
Those are two ideas that we like. Those are ideas we've already had, so we just kind of keep making it. But people keep enjoying them. People want to see. It's prevalent with the tournament coming up, so it works out pretty well. People can get a little preview of what's going to happen with the tournament and kind of our thoughts on either the course or how we're going to attack and make our decision making for that. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of thought process throughout the season, just because we try to keep it simple and try to focus more on the play, and then maybe be more creative in the off season.
Not overthink it too much.
Yeah.
Do you get support? Obviously, you have a camera person most of the time. It's not you and Goose swapping.
Shout out to Eli Swanson right there.
Shout out to Eli.
He shot 6 down the first round. I don't know how he played. I don't know if he played as well today. I'm not sure.
I haven't checked today's scores
after the first round.
He's right up there, man.
He films for us fantastically during the week and then comes out and shreds too. So it's
he's learning from watching the content live in real time.
Hopefully,
the course breakdown. Do you do your own editing? Do you also have support on the editing side?
Shout out to Eli.
Eli.
He's been editing too, which it helps a lot to have the same guy film and edit, because I feel like as he's editing, he could know exactly what's going to happen next and know what to cut, and it just makes it a lot more efficient than sending it off. So there's also that part too. For a while, we would send it off to someone else who kind of got a promotion, so he can't really edit for us anymore. But there would be a lot of time that we would waste by uploading it to our Dropbox, and then sending it to him, and then having him download it, and then having to like do all that.
Your internet connection in whatever.
Oh my gosh,
Ale, Gothenburg, Sweden, or
the Wi-Fi connection thing it's a nightmare sometimes too. You have to try to find a library or coffee shop sometimes, but it works really well with Eli doing both, and that's been a huge help for our YouTube channels.
Amazing. It's we've had similar issues with MDG where you have to bring the editors on site. Obviously, it means instead of 4 camera people, 6, 8 camera people, you're bringing 12, 15 people on site. That's a whole different thing logistically. But it makes such a difference to be on site there. Totally. Talk to me a little bit about off-season content. You said you get creative. A couple videos of yours come to mind. I'm thinking, sliding metal sheets.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Do you have any favorite videos in your archive that you think back on as a high-quality video, or a video that was especially fun for you to produce?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that have done really well were also really fun. We did a few budget battles with Coling and Yuli and Kevin, and those did really well with the views, and I think it's just because they were so fun. Like, we had so much fun making those, and then they translated really well. So those come to mind. I made like 5 or 6 videos that off season where we did the sliding metal sheets. The budget on some of those videos was way too high. We did not make. I lost a lot of money that.
The returns did not justify the build.
Dude, we did a 1 yard wide fairway. So I bought carpet and then just cut it into like 3 foot wide sheets. I made it 600 feet long, and that cost like $1,000 just to carpet. And so we didn't get anywhere near that we torn on the YouTube video. But I wanted to make that stuff, and it was fun to do, and we enjoyed it. So that was fun. This last off season, we did a imposter challenge. So we drew names from a hat, and like 1 or 2 people got picked as the imposter, and so then you had to play best shot, 6 people or whatever it was, and then one person's trying to like secretly make everybody shoot bad and like not get chosen. And so that video was super fun. We need to bring that one back. Eli talks about that too, because he watched that video but wasn't able to film it, and so he's like, I want to film one of those or be in it or something, because that was a super fun one. So that one comes to mind too.
Run it back, the Imposter Challenge 2.0. Nice.
Sure. Which that's one we could do in season 2 with some of the pros on tour. We just haven't found the time to do it, I guess.
Of course, it's a busy schedule.
It is.
Speaking of the schedule and the time, especially when you're traveling, I think you're here, you're playing 2 to 4 hours a day of golf maximum for a tournament weekend.
Right.
How do you try to fill your time outside of that 1 round a day, especially when you're somewhere maybe that you're not so familiar with, or that you're just visiting? You might not have the comforts of home necessarily.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll go explore a little bit. Like when I was in Konopiste, I drove up to Prague one day and checked the city out. Sometimes, like last week in Poland, I was staying with, we had like 11 people in our house. It was AB, Adam, Yuli, Brad, that whole crew, Aaron, Jake, Parker. We had a bunch of people in that house. So that's pretty, as far as like filling the time off the course, that's pretty easy. We just play putting games in the back, or just hang out, or watch YouTube videos of disc golf videos or whatever it was. That was pretty easy way to kill time. Gym's a good way too. I'll spend an hour and a half at the gym usually. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, like during the practice weeks, like play a practice round or 2. Lately, it's been like 2, or field work, or putting, or whatever it is. So try to stay pretty busy.
Do you find that you have to manage the wear and tear on the body? I think a lot of disc golfers mentally, it's natural when you're on site to just play round after round after round. It's fun, you love the sport, you're there, but leading up to an event, that can sometimes even be detrimental to your tournament rounds. You're obviously in great shape. How do you try and prepare optimally, let's say, leading into a weekend? Yeah,
I mean, you don't want to burn yourself out. I don't know. I'll play with some people, and they'll kind of say, they'll be throwing a bunch of shots. I'm like, I can tell they'll say their arms getting tired. I don't really know if I have that issue, or maybe I'm just not aware of it, and it does happen. Or maybe I just won't throw enough forehands.
Maybe they just have bad form.
Yeah, that's probably what. Goose, man, I'm talking about Goose. Goose, your forehand sucks. No, okay, he's got one of the best forehands. But yeah, he'll rip forehands for like a whole day. We'll play 2 rounds, and I'm like, I can just tell my arm's getting tired, so he'll rest it. And so, when people get to that point, they will, you have to dial it back. I don't know if I get to that point. I feel like I throw a lot of shots. Like I will go to the field typically and throw a lot of shots, and I'll go play a practice round and throw a lot of shots. And I don't really get too much fatigue from that. I do think I'm going to start dialing back the lifting a little bit. So I would usually walk out 6 days a week.
Okay.
And
so
even,
the day before,
even during tournaments, I would walk out on Friday, Saturday of tournaments as well. And every time I say that, I get the reaction of just what you said. Well, even during a tournament, like
that muscle recovery, it's like the arm's spaghetti. You feel like the timing goes out the window when you're.
For me, since I've kept it so consistent for so long, I feel like that's how I stay away from getting sore.
Yeah.
And it's like I also will walk out before a practice round, and so I kind of want to keep that consistent for the tournaments. But I want to try.
Practice how you play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I kind of want to try switching it up though, because everyone does think I'm crazy when I say that, and so maybe they're right. Maybe I am crazy for working out that much. So I think I'm going to try dialing it back to just like 3 or 4 days a week, and just not walk out the days before an event. So it'll be maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if it's a Friday start, and then see how that works. And I should still be able to maintain my gains. Hopefully, I don't lose too many if I cut 2 days out of the week. But I'm just thinking maybe there is some like bodily fatigue that I'm experiencing without being aware of it, and so I'm going to see if this helps keep me fresh.
You might even get more gains through extended rest.
It's possible. Well, that is the thing too. People will walk out 2 consecutive, like they'll do bicep curls every single day. It's like, well, you gotta take some days off. You gotta let the body recover a little bit. So it's.
What's your workout split? What's your go-to?
I go upper body, lower body. So I'll just do like legs on Monday and then upper body on Tuesday, and then just kind of alternate, and then usually would take like Sundays off. So yeah, I feel like for me that 24 hours or 48 hours is enough time to recover.
Yeah. While we're on this topic, another question which some people wanted to hear the answer to: what do you bench? What do you squat? What are your favorite lifts?
Oh man, the thing is I don't really do either of those.
Okay.
I do squats, but it's in a Smith machine, so it doesn't even count, 'cause it's like I don't have to balance the weight. And then I hardly ever do bench press. I was back home with my buddies before I flew out to the West Coast, and I did do a couple bench press. They were doing bench press. I was like, let's see what I can do. So I did get 225 for like 4 reps, I think, was what I did. So I don't think that's very good, but I think if I would.
For someone who doesn't bench rep, I think that's pretty
It's not too bad. Yeah, I think it is interesting how that works with they doing new exercises. If you just do the exercise for a few days, like a few weeks, you just get better at it just because like your technique flushes out and all that stuff. So I think if I did bench for a month, it'd probably go up a little bit, hopefully. But I really like chest flies, so that's my. I like doing dumbbell flies instead of bench press. I feel like I can get a deeper stretch with that. So that's one of my favorite exercises. Tricep pull downs, or push downs, I guess. I like those a lot too. Shoulder, I like lateral raises. I kind of switch my technique a little bit too, where I get my body angled out to where I can get a little bit deeper stretch on the.
What do you mean by that? On the lateral raise, you're leaning to that side?
Yeah, so if I'm doing we'll say I'm doing my left arm, we got the cable machine right here. So I'd have my feet further away, so to where my arm kind of hangs down like across my body like this. So I'm getting more of a stretch, and then as soon as I start to move my hand, I get that tension in the stretched part of the.
So you're increasing range of motion, effectively.
I'm increasing the range of motion, and I'm targeting the stretched part of the movement. So like with a bicep curl, you've got the stretched part, you've got the concentrated part of it, and really like the bottom stretched part is where you get more of the gains. And so I want to kind of tweak exercises to where I get a little bit more of that. So even with bicep curls, like it's better to do half reps where you only go to here than it is to get the top. So yeah, just kind of switching things up like that a little bit.
Do you think the optimal workout is going to failure, or are you of the opinion that you can have a larger volume of reps, let's say, by not going to failure, and then maybe having overall in the week a larger rep count? What's your approach to optimal strength?
Yeah, so what I do, and this is also backed by the research that I've done, because I've kind of nerded out about fitness stuff. When I got into it, I was like, I want to make sure I'm doing things correctly, which is kind of how I attacked disc golf too. I wanted to make sure my technique was locked, so kind of translates there. But going like 1 or 2 reps shy of failure is optimal, because if you go all the way to failure, then you burn yourself out a lot more than like the gains that you get comparatively. And then you also kind of risk injury in those final couple reps. So just going like 1 or 2 reps shy of failure to where you can maybe pump out 1 or 2 more, then it's just stop right there. And if you get way less than that, like let's say you could do 12 reps and you stop at 5, it's like you're not really putting enough strain on the muscle. So yeah, I usually just do like 10 reps to where I could do 12, but I just stop at 10, about that spot.
Yeah, makes sense. What do you see in your future beyond disc golf? Let's say, I'll start the question with, how many years do you see yourself being a touring professional disc golfer? And we'll extend after to what do you see yourself as the next chapter?
Oh man, the book's not written yet, so I don't know. It's hard to say from my perspective. I don't know the future. But I think as long as I stay healthy and everything goes well, and I want to keep playing for as long as I can, then I think it's possible to play into my 40s. That seems to be kind of the level where most pros kind of slow down and then maybe play Masters a lot more and there are some guys that are in their 40s that still play, and so I feel like I do try to take care of my body and stay healthy and in shape. I feel like that should hopefully translate into positive longevity. And so I think if I could play until I'm maybe 45 would be a good number, which is it seems like a long time.
At the moment?
I'm 27.
So that's a good 18 years,
yeah,
I think.
It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of time.
Considering the schedule which you
yeah, well,
mentioned.
I'm not sure every single season I'll be playing 25 events, but
of course.
Yeah, so I think I should be able to play for a while if I want to. And then as far as what I want to do after the sport, man, I have no idea. I mean, if I do play for 18 more years, who knows what I'll want to do at that point.
Yeah. Historically, looking back, what parts of your life have you think contributed to you being a good disc golfer? We touched on the fitness, but growing up, did you play other sports? What do you think molded you?
Totally, yeah. I mean, that's a deeper question right there, even. I mean, technically everything. I think God molded me, just how He made me, and then how He made me react to different things. And obviously, my upbringing with my parents, they instilled a lot of values in me. My brothers, I was super competitive with, especially my younger brother. We played golf and swam and everything together. So we always had that, and we did math counts together. So literally everything was just we had this bike race game that we would play, and one of us would get a faster time than the other one would try to beat it, and then we would just go back and forth. So we always had that competition internally. So I think a lot of the reason why I'm competitive now is probably because of him and my family and my upbringing and that. Sports for sure. I did competitive swimming when I was kind of younger. And I think that helped make me want to be in shape and kind of instill that work ethic as well. And then played golf in high school. And so I think some of that, course management stuff, even obviously golf is probably the closest sport we have to disc golf. And so a lot of that translates to disc golf as well. And then also other things, even when I was younger, my parents, we all hated the cold. In South Dakota, it gets really cold. So we would travel West Coast a few of the winters. And so I think getting used to traveling has even helped me with my job too. It's not too difficult for me to jump in a car and just leave and just travel. So that kind of helped make this job a little bit more convenient as well. So yeah, I mean, I think honestly it's all of it. It's all of it, but definitely just the way I was raised, my parents, my brothers, that's the main thing.
Yeah, they were the influential figures in your life. That's cool.
Totally.
Speaking of those influences on you, are there any particular books, movies, something that you've consumed from external that you think hold a lot of value as a disc golfer and maybe then just as a human being? Are there any standouts for you in what has influenced you in the way you think, the way you act?
It's a good question. Man, as a disc golfer, I'm not sure. There was this one book that I read a few seasons ago that I was having a bad season. I read this book, and I can remember chapter 2 of it was all about having a positive mindset, and that helped a lot. I can't remember the name of it now though, which is really bad for this podcast. I should have that. Dang, it's on the tip of my tongue too. Anyway, that book, whatever it is.
If you find it, text
if I find it, maybe let you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that book was a good one. As far as life, and maybe even disc golf as well, because it's I guess it's part of what shaped me.
All together, I suppose.
Rich Dad Poor Dad was a book that really, I don't know, it changed my mindset a lot when I was 15. I was planning on going to college to be an engineer or something, and then I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is about basically personal finance and real estate and investing and just kind of being your own boss a little bit and being an entrepreneur. And so that was kind of well, why would I go to college if I can just get rich doing real estate and just kind of be more self-reliant? And so that kind of shifted my focus, and I tried to do real estate out of high school, and then decided to do disc golf instead. And I think that having that mindset was kind of influential, I guess, in me playing disc golf as well.
Do you think part of being a professional disc golfer is requiring an entrepreneurial spirit in 2025? I
think so, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a lot more on your own than a typical job. We don't really have bosses in this sport. I have team managers at a team manager at Discraft, and I have Danny at OTB and stuff. But it's not really a boss-employee relationship. It's more it's a contractual obligation. So it's if I don't withhold my end of the contract, then that's when I can get cut. But I can't it's not a normal job like that. It's definitely more of an individual entrepreneurial type job.
Yeah,
for sure.
Makes sense. We are here at Ale, as we mentioned, what many refer to as disc golf paradise.
Right.
Where does this course rank in your top 5, top 10, if it even makes that cut?
Right. Do a tier list. I think it's top 10 for me. I'm not sure if it's top 5. It'd probably be close. This place is sweet. This place is special. They've done a lot of work to make it as incredible as it is, which is it's apparent, it's obvious. But there's some really good courses out there. I mean, like Glendovier is one of my favorite courses. Deglo. I think for me personally, some of these courses that have more length rank higher for me, just because I like throwing the nuke. I like bombing shots. I think that's a big part of the game. Well, it should be a big part of the game is having the controllable distance. And this course has a little bit of that, but it's definitely more like placement friendly. You don't have to really throw too many long shots. But with that being said, it's still fantastic. So I think it should definitely be my top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, top 5 is probably tough. But it's fantastic. Those are so many good courses. So like if you're on the top 10, it's incredible.
Yeah. You mentioned that requirement for distance for you is a preference. Obviously, you're a great tee to green player. How has your game developed from when you started as a professional disc golfer to now in terms of your strengths and weaknesses, and how have you tried to manage your self-awareness of your game?
Yeah, the thing is, man, it's like it all fluctuates. It's tough to say. When I first played my very first tournament, this is after like 2 years of practicing and thinking that I was good enough to compete at the pro level already. My putting was atrocious. Like I didn't realize how bad it was until I played that first tournament. So that's definitely come a long way. It's all improved for sure from the very beginning of my career. But then, like I said, it fluctuates a lot. Like we played the tournament in the Northwest Championships last week, and my throwing was definitely what killed my event. I think I lost strokes compared to the field with putting. But then, like the month and a half before that, my putting completely killed me, and my throwing was what kind of slacked. And then, well, for this tournament, both has been kind of bad. So it's hard to know. It's hard to say. What's really improved the most. I mean, I think putting generally is probably what's improved the most and kept creeping me up to more the top. And then I'm still trying to figure the throwing out and the putting. It's all a process. Always trying to get better at everything.
Yeah. You mentioned that it's improved. I know statistically this season you've been one of, if not the strongest C2 putter, even if it's not clicking on this exact weekend.
It was before Kona Piste, I think it was. Yeah.
What is your putting routine like mentally? What do you try to dial in on and focus in on to perform in that state of pressure over and over consistently?
I think sticking to my pre-shot routine is really important to kind of give me that comfortability. I kind of step up to my lie, and then I do like one kind of pump fake just to kind of let my mind know that I'm going to putt, kind of get my visualization on that. And then I pick my link and kind of like half envision how the flight of it. I don't completely do that because I think if I completely envision the flight, I would aim maybe off to the right a little bit if it's a longer putt it needs to get that little right flight. Yep. So sometimes I'm aware of where it's going to go, but I still try to just aim at the basket. And then I'm putting the best when it's all automatic. So I'm putting the best when I'm just looking at the basket and I can just do my stroke and just think about like the little pop, and that's it. And then when I'm not putting as well, then I feel like I have to think about what I'm doing, and that's when I think about my downstroke and my upstroke, and that's when it's not as good. So I'm looking forward to being back in the States with all my 20 puddles that I can just go to a basket and bang out reps and get that muscle memory back to locked in to where it's just a natural stroke. So I think the last 5 weeks of not having that has been a little detrimental.
We touched earlier on backhand and forehand form. Who do you think right now at this exact moment is the best putter in the world?
I think statistically, like Andrew Mulreed is probably the best putter. Yeah. I think if I can get my putting back to what it was like before Kona Piste, I think I can move back up to close to that top spot, if not the top spot again. That'd be a really good accomplishment. And it's my putting's come a long way, so it'd be nice to be. Obviously, like being the best at any skill isn't that important. It's really just about who can put the best overall score together. But it does take the pieces. So it'd be nice if I could get there. Andrew Mulreed, I think statistically he's the best putter, but I don't know if he has the textbook best stroke, in my opinion. Like I think he lofts it a little bit more than.
He comes really low. It's more of a float than a direct
pitch, right? Which he obviously makes it work fantastic. So that kind of like I said with the backhand form, it kind of means that it's good. But like puddles like Gannon and Anthony and Adam, I come to mind as like that's a flight that I really look at as like that's a good flight. When Anthony putts and it's just like it's a little bit more direct. It's got really good spin, really good pace, really good like baby hyzer angle, just slowly dropping into the basket. That's kind of what I look for in my putt as well. And so I think that's like a textbook perfect putt.
Yep. What are you putting with this season, and how often do you like to rotate your putters? You mentioned you have 20 at home.
Yep.
Do you pull them off the shelf for your season, and how long do you like to beat in a putter for?
Yeah, so I've been using CT Glow Challenger SSs. I like the tack and the stiffness of them. And then as far as how often I rotate them out, I would say probably once every 2 months. So I'm getting to the end of the life of these, and maybe that's why I'm missing too, because I'm getting a little floaty on me.
Yeah.
So when I get back to the States, I think I'll swap them out for some freshies. And then my 20 that I have for practice, I've had those, man, probably 2 years. Just for practice putting, it's not as important. And it'd feel kind of bad to go to the warehouse and just get a stack of 20 new ones. Like I feel like maybe they probably wouldn't care, but
They'd let you do it. Come on.
They probably would. Yeah, they probably would. I guess
if
it's
you
coming
gave
out
them
of
a
my
call,
paycheck,
they'd
technically.
prepare them for you.
Right,
I
they
think
probably
they'd
would.
box them up.
That's true.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. We see the sun setting behind us. It's pretty cool, actually. Pretty
Disc golf
beautiful.
paradise.
As we see, yeah, we're here. Are there any final words, thoughts, messages that you want to share with your friends and family, people who are supporting you? Maybe how can they support you to start?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like all my sponsors is a great way to support me. We're here on the OTB Europe shop, so OTB is a fantastic way. We've got a discount code for free shipping if you use code EzraEurope. That's why in Europe. You can use that and get some free shipping. I've got a bunch of discs and mulch on OTB site as well, so that's a good way to support me. Obviously, Discraft, we've got a bunch of mulch and discs on Discraft's site as well, and they've been really good to me. So helping Discraft helps me a lot. And then Squatch is another good one. We've got the bag. It's obviously an important part of the game.
It's looking good, I'll say that. Your new Squatch is crispy clean.
Yeah, they do a really good job with our bags. And so if you're looking for a disc golf bag, you have to have a way to carry the discs that we like so much. So Squatch is a good one too. If you use code Ezra, you get $20 off a bag. So yeah, check that out too. And as far as my friends and family, everyone supporting me, yeah, I mean, obviously thanks. Hopefully I can maybe not travel as much as I am this season. I can see you guys a little bit more, because it gets pretty busy out here, and that is kind of one of the downsides to being a pro disc golfer, is you are away from your friends from back home and your family from back home. You don't get to see them a whole lot. So hopefully I can see all those guys a little bit more. And then for anyone else supporting me, it's always cool to just see people commenting on YouTube videos and views and likes and all that stuff, and kind of following my journey. So I appreciate all those people as well.
Amazing. Thank you to all of the supporters, people who watched. Ezra, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, thank you, Connor, for having me on. This was fun, man.
Really nice evening.
Okay.
And maybe we can do another episode later at a future DGPT Europe stop. As you said, you're there for a lot of them.
Yep.
And we'll throw in a full Discraft tier list next time.
That'd be fun.
Amazing.
I look forward to it.
Thank you, and have a good night, everyone. Good day. We'll see you at the next one.
Heck yeah. Sweet.